Doubling back on our conversation on the cost of living in the country. Now, if you're just joining us, we just ended or rounded up the phone-in segment where we got to hear from Nigerians, and they shared their opinion on the cost of living in the country and how essentials have become luxuries. It was quite a segment there. I can't put a name to it just yet. But something I picked out from that conversation was everybody complained, at least 50% of the people who called complained about the cost of egg. And that is going to be our conversation this morning in the discussion segment. Now, today we're discussing a crucial issue that affects every household in Nigeria: the rising cost of eggs. The Poultry Association of Nigeria, PAN, has sounded the alarm, warning that egg prices may skyrocket from 5,500, actually 6,000 in some places, to 10,000 naira per crate if urgent action isn't taken to support poultry farmers. The association attributes this price hike to the high cost of transportation caused by fuel subsidy removal and the indiscriminate increase in feed prices by millers. The poultry farmers are emphasizing that the federal government must declare a state of emergency on egg production, citing the severe decline in protein intake and Nigeria's inability to rely on imported eggs. So, joining us today are experts in the poultry industry who will be discussing the implications of these price increases and potential solutions. So we'll be exploring topics as the impact of fuel subsidy removal and how the removal has affected transportation and cost, and subsequently the prices of eggs, feed increase, the prices of feed increase, what is driving the surge in feed prices, and how can millers be regulated and they should sell with conscience. Government intervention: what measures can the government take to support poultry farmers and stabilize egg prices? And then alternatives and innovations. We also look at if there are alternative sources to proteins or even innovative farming methods that can help mitigate and affect the price. So don't go anywhere, because we're going to be having a very interesting conversation that will shed light on the challenges facing Nigeria's poultry industry and potential solutions to ensure affordable protein for all. So joining us to do justice to this topic via Zoom, we have an agri-businessman and a poultry farmer, Dr. Usman Gwarzo. Dr. Gwarzo is a veterinary doctor and the chairman of the Kano State chairman of Poultry Association of Nigeria. Thank you for joining us, Dr. Usman.
Good morning, everyone. It's a pleasure to have you here.
All right, good morning, Dr. Usman. Thank you for joining us. And we also have from Spain, we're being joined via Zoom by Mr. Onalu Akpa. Mr. Akpa is the Director General, Poultry Association of Nigeria. Thank you for joining us, Mr. Onalu.
Thank you. Good morning.
All right, let's kick off with you, Mr. Onalu. What is happening in the poultry, the Poultry Association? What is happening? Why are we seeing an increase in the cost of eggs? Just give us an overview of what is happening at the moment.
Well, thank you, sister. It is a pleasure to be with you this morning, and I wish I'm in your station. Unfortunately, I'm far away in Spain, and it is very delighting to be with you because as practitioners and as business people who have put all our stake in the poultry industry, we are worried. We are worried in the sense that this is not what is expected of the food security situation of Nigeria, especially in the provision of cheap and affordable animal resources from poultry, especially the topic of discussions this morning I've just had, and then people have been complaining, and we had the World Egg Day on Friday, was that the prices of egg is unaffordable by Nigerians. This is really true. It is true in the sense that it is not man-made. It is true in the sense that it is as a result of so many factors. And principal among these is the high cost of production. And I will tell you that when consumers say the price of egg is much, and as if at all the farmers are it's a combination of factors of production, the cost. On and on. And I will tell you that most of the farmers that no, when you want to feasible programs are closing down in the
I think we have
crate of egg might reach 10,000.
network glitch there because I
Next 5 months, urgent.
okay, let's move to Dr. Usman Gwarzo. Dr. Usman, thank you for joining us on the show. Now let's get your thought on what is playing out in when it comes to poultry business in Nigeria. As a poultry farmer, he was also trying to shed light on what is happening. So tell us what exactly is happening in the poultry business. You're a poultry farmer. You're working, you're seeing this firsthand. Tell us what's going on.
Introducing me, you introduced me as a pet doctor. I'm a medical doctor by profession and a consultant public health physician. If you look at the industry now, just look at the value chain. We are dealing with an industry where you have input from various sources. Close to 70% of our industries are domestic and agric-based. What I mean is that you are looking for grains, you're looking for a byproduct of other industries. For example, soya meal, which is a product of oil mill industry, and you have wheat offal coming from flour industry. Then you get maize directly from the farmers or from the market. You have so many other things, limestone and coal. And this all require a huge capital. And when you look at the way the manufacturing industry in the country is turning around, it makes it very difficult for you to start thinking that you are going to get any of your inputs at a lower cost. Let's take, for example, last year by now, we are buying maize about 30,000 naira to 35,000. But now the situation is above what you are expecting. Soya is nowhere to be found from 300,000 last year per ton to now we are talking about 900,000 naira per ton. So all the cost of the input we are dealing with have tripled. And recently, if you look at the trend, is that of closure of farms rather than expansion. In the location where I'm practicing, like Kano, we are talking about close to 90% of our farmers have closed shop, and that generates scarcity. And it's not only in Kano or in northern part of the country, it is all over. So it's very difficult for you to operate a farm where your capital is dwindling, is going down to less than 30% of what you are doing. Then number two, the whole industry opens. What I mean by open is we don't have any support from anywhere. Look at it from the perspective of government. We were just not being treated even as a farmers. The people look at us as just ordinary businessmen, not contributing to the security, the food security in the country. And that's the reality. So when you don't have subsidy in a product and we allow the market to flow the way it wish, that this is the consequences. You don't, even with the high price of egg, in many locations, it is nowhere to be found. So that is the situation we are finding ourselves. That's the main reason why in the industry you keep on seeing raising cost of egg, but which is not as commensurate with even the cost we are putting to produce those eggs.
All right, we learned that.
Thank you.
Yeah, we learned that the cost of feed is also a contributory factor. Can you throw more light on that? The cost of feeds for the chickens, and are there alternatives to feeds that could be used for birds that are cheaper?
You said cost of feeds. That's what I'm trying to discuss. Majority major farmers are producing their own feeds, but if you look at the middle class and the lower class farmers, they rely on commercial feed manufacturers. And these are business people who get the raw materials and come up with a package of 25 kilogram feeds, which have continuously been increasing in the price. And it's not only in the price, they are faced with scarcities and mistrust. What I mean with the mistrust is that these feeds are no longer what they are previously. Despite the rising cost, there is a drop in quality, which have contributed to the closure of many farms. When you don't have the right ingredients in the feeds, because the companies are either struggling or they are trying to take the advantage of farmers to make more profit, the consequences is low quality feed, and that what will kill more the farmers. They are not producing eggs as expected, and the health of the birds are also affected. Recently in Kano, we sample the major feed millers and we take it to laboratory for assessment. We realize that they are all given a substandard product. That also contribute to the dying industry of poultry in many places. And factors related to that is people are looking for profit, and there's no regulatory bodies doing what is expected to cross-check and find out whether these feeds are standard or they are fit for production. Thank you.
All right, let's. Do we still have Mr. Onalo Akpa on Zoom here with us? All right. At this point, he has made some crucial points talking about lack of regulatory body to monitor the cost of feed and cost of feed and standard of feed produced, and also lack of people out to make gains. At this point, what intervention could be done in the poultry sector in Nigeria, especially seeing that the cost of egg is alarming and Nigerians can't afford egg anymore? If Nigerians decide to let go of eggs and decide not to buy them anymore, we won't have poultry farmers have sales except chickens. So what interventions is being done, especially to check price regulatory by the association and reach out to the government? What intervention is being done?
Hello?
Yeah, go ahead, Mr. Onalu. All right, I think Mr. Onalo is still experiencing a little bit of network glitch there. Now back to you, Dr. Gwarzo. Do we still have Dr. Gwarzo with us? All right, Dr.
I can hear you loud and clear.
Dr. Gwarzo. Now, at this point, what intervention is being expected from poultry farmers in Nigeria? Especially from the government. What intervention are poultry farmers expecting?
Yeah, number one, federal government has to be proactive in reviving the industry, because to me, irrespective of whether people eat eggs or didn't eat eggs, we don't even have enough. And our neighborhood we have a loose borders where other countries are looking for egg, especially from the northern part of the country. So number one, we need government to come in. There's nowhere in the world where those who are contributing to food security are not receiving any subsidy or support. The main problem we have is grains. We know the production of grains in Nigeria have reduced because of insecurity, especially in the northern part of the country. But we have to do something to ensure that these farmers are protected. They access grains to feed the chickens on time, and facilities are provided to ensure that the production is maintained. That is number one. Number two, we have to look at the other industry that determine the price of egg. For example, those who are farming to produce the grains, the oil industries that give us soya, the other industries like flour industry, all the agro-ali industry need to receive attention. Because the way now we are just left with nobody to provide any needed support, it will not be good enough. We have seen what is happening in petrol when they say, go and do your price. People now are choosing when even to go to work. Then number three, beside that, we have to come with regulation. A lot of input suppliers are taking advantage of farmers because they know there is nobody that will come in between and say whether what you are doing is good or is not good. So that is a very serious issue, and the government only one that can do something and try to avoid further catastrophe. Then number four, we have to look at the market. We have a terrible market where you don't even know what is happening. People are taking advantage. You go to the farms, and collect egg at 5,000 naira or 5,500, then you start hearing in some market 7,000 naira, 8,000 naira or so. So because they capitalize on the security and the scarcity, and with scarcity, demand increase and supply is limited, then the price is no control. Thank you.
All right, now let's talk about the impact of fuel subsidy removal on the cost of, feed and subsequently egg prices. How bad is the impact of this removal and even the ripple effect over time, even the current increase in the cost of fuel? How bad is it? Is this equivalent to the possibility of buying eggs at 10,000 naira per crate in Nigeria? How bad is that? Dr. Gwarzo, can you hear us?
Yeah, come again. I had some.
Okay, first of all, we learned that eggs will soon be sold at 10,000 naira per crate. Is that true?
It's not that true. If you read the article, my colleague in the FCT who made that comment try to forecast what in near future, if nothing, if nothing is done. For example, now Kano, up to Abuja, now when you go around, for every 10 farms you see, 9 are closed. So now even if the other part of the country, like southern part of the country, where they produce more egg than the northern part of the country, despite that they don't have the input like in the northern part of the country. What is happening is you have more large-scale farmers in the southern part of the countries, but you have the source of the input from the northern part of the country. And now transport cost is unbearable. So you cannot even take the input from the northern part of the country to the south, or you cannot take the product from the southern part of the country to the north. So there is like a blockage. This is an obstacle, not even a challenge, where you cannot move the product from where it is produced where it is needed. And now the cost of transportation is the #1 life cost driver for all the other products. All this inflation you are hearing increase in price is because you don't have control over the cost of petrol, which determine your transportation. And provided there is no limit to the cost of petrol, which now every day when you read newspaper, they would say petrol may increase its price next week or whatever. Definitely when the cost of transportation, it will affect the cost of the input. It will affect even the cost of our staff coming from home to go to the farms to work. It will affect bringing the egg from the farms, which are not inside the towns usually, to even to the town. At the end of the day, you keep on having a multiplier effect on the cost. So that is a possibility. We have not reached there. We are not praying to reach there. No farmer is happy with the way things are moving, but we know definitely if we didn't halt these factors, limited production, absence of government participation, no regulation, continuous increase in the cost of transportation, only God knows where the cost of egg will reach.
All right, now a quick question. Have you noticed, you've spoken about the fact that some poultries are closing down, farmers are not able to afford to maintain their poultries anymore. Has there been a change in the surge of customers interested in patronizing poultry products since this recent increment has started taking place?
It's not that there's even decrease. At the farmers level, we are even rationing. A customer can place order of 1,000 crate, you can only give him 200 crate for others even to have it. It's because we are no longer there. You can imagine an industry where 90% have abandoned the business. So the limited number of people who can afford the egg, the limited number of people, middlemen who still have capital, have also put a lot of pressure on the farmers that the only available few farms cannot sustain the needed demand from our customers. So there is no decrease as per farm level because it is not even enough we are not even producing enough.
All right, can you still hear me? Dr. Gwarzo, can you hear me? All right, I think we lost Dr. Gwarzo, can you hear me? All right, as an association, you're the chairman of the Poultry Association. You're the chairman of the Poultry Association in Nigeria now. As an association in Kano, what strategies have you employed to, curb? You spoke about irregulation of prices, where some people are trying to make excess gain. Is it also on the part of the poultry farmers or just on the part of the middlemen and the millers? So what steps have you taken to, probably report them to the right authority or curb it to an extent?
So we take multiple dimensions. The number one approach we did was to do analysis of all the feed product based on the standard quality expected of a feed. So we analyzed the feed, we come up with evidence, we share with their association's leadership to say, these farmers are shortchanged in terms of quality of the feed we are buying. So after that, we documented all this. We are waiting for their responses, which so far we have not received. And definitely we are going to communicate to the Standard Organization of Nigeria, Consumer Protection, and also the related agencies who we think should play a role. We have evidence in our hand that because of the rising cost of input, the feed millers are shortchanging farmers, giving them substandard product and contributing to the killing of the industry. As for the middlemen, the strategies we took is we're encouraging our members to open a direct shops. What I mean by direct shop is from farmer to open an outlet where he can be selling his egg at a lower cost to people, so that it will not go through multiple hands and leading to an increase in the price. If you look at it in the whole Nigeria, Kano have the cheapest egg rates. When you look at the price, still most of our farms in Kano are selling eggs as 5,200 naira. And that is the highest you are getting in the farms. So if the farmers now will be selling directly to the consumers, the way we are advocating, will have a better pricing. Then we keep on engaging with government. We wrote a proposal to the Kano State government, which they are studying it, how to salvage the industry. We also engage with the National Agricultural Development Fund here in Abuja to see how we can come together. This industry, which lost over 90% of its members, how are we going to revive back? Otherwise, in the near future, you start waiting for importation of egg from other parts of the country or even outside Nigeria. Thank you.
We do not look forward to that. Thank you, Dr. Gwarzo. Now, let's get back to Mr. Onalo. Hopefully, his network is a bit better now. Mr. Onalo, can you hear us? Do we still have Mr. Onalo with us? The Director General of Poultry Association of Nigeria? Okay. Mr. Onalo, it seems your network is not wanting you to communicate what is being done at the national level, when it comes to the cost of poultry farming in Nigeria. But let's get back to Dr. Gwarzo, who is here with us now. People are looking for alternatives. People are always looking for alternatives when it comes to trying to make life easy for themselves. So are there alternatives or innovations that you would encourage farmers to put in place to keep their poultry farm afloat and help in the production of egg, at least to see how we could stabilize the price? Are there innovations that you would encourage farmers to take upon at this moment?
Yeah, number one innovation, which I tested and it works for me, is to stop buying commercial feeds. That will reduce the cost of the input. If you look at it, close to 80% of what is needed to produce egg, we can source them locally. So why not the farmers, instead of relying on commercial feeds, which have undergone so many processes, high cost of production, transportation. In your immediate farm, all you need is the knowledge, get the expert to teach you how to produce your own feed at a lower cost. And we have so many products, even though up to now maize cannot be substituted, but other components can be substituted. Some even use organic method to get local items to supply some needed nutrients, which the hen require, and at the end of the day to produce what is needed. Number two is when it comes to selling the egg, to help our citizens, is to eliminate the middlemen, which at every touch they increase the price. Sometime we made some analysis. Egg from farm to the consumer pass through like 5 different people. You have somebody who will go to the farm and buy, then that is the major, somebody with capital, then he will distribute to the lower ones, then the lower ones will take it around to market, then before it reaches the shops. So at every stage, like 200 naira is added, and that would take it to about 6,000 and above. But in reality, it left the farm at 5,000 naira or 5,200. So if you have that, of that linkage between farm to the consumer, but looking at the alternative as a part of the consumer, I don't think, I'm a medical doctor, there is no any food with nutrients as rich as egg. So it's difficult to get what God created, a one package which contains every protein needs of human being like egg. So it's going to be difficult. And when you weigh the price, how much now is a kilo of meat compare with crate of egg? They are not even comparative. Kilo of meat or kilo of chicken, which one is cheaper? You go to market, kilo of chicken is cheaper rather than kilo of meat. And the egg give you things which other protein source don't give. So it's difficult to replace egg with anything you think of, whether plant protein or animal protein. So most important thing is how can we make it more affordable? And we have mentioned that, and the key to that is government should look at poultry farmers as an important stakeholder in ensuring food security in Nigeria. Right. Thank you.
Quickly before we go, now you spoke about efforts being made to reach out to the Kano State government to seek their intervention. Is this yielding positive results, and should Nigerians be hopeful that we would see a stabilization in the prices of egg and possibly a drop in the price of egg and poultry products?
We are able to get the political commitment from the government to the highest level. We had discussion with the deputy governor, the commissioner of agriculture, and some special advisors. They requested that we should write a plan of how do we think this problem can be solved, which we did. But naturally, you know how government process take place. And we will keep on pushing with the hope that if they respond to those proposals, we will get better in Kano. And you know, the moment Kano get better, Northern Nigeria gets better. So that is number one. As per federal government, there is this new agency just created, National Agricultural Development Fund. I had a meeting with the CEO, Muhammad Abu Ibrahim. The aim is to see how we can come using the agency's might and the new energy they have to salvage this industry nationally. So we are engaging with government. Still, we have enough hope, but we have not started seeing the result of our engagement.
All right, so Nigerians can be hopeful that in the next few months, hopefully, we're going to see a decline in the cost of egg and probably see most of our poultry farmers back into business again.
That's our prayer, and we want Nigerians to continue to pray for us and look at the teeming use this industry take care of. If a farmer with 1,000 layer beds in his farm can employ and provide means of sustenance for at least 20 people, talk less of large number. I don't think there's any middle class industry which provided enough labor to Nigerians like poultry industry, starting from input supply, input processing, selling the eggs, selling the byproduct. Even some people rely on animal droppings the chicken droppings to live. And now with this closure, these are young men which we don't know what will happen. In the recent times, we have caught some criminals vandalizing people's farm to steal their chicken. And we realized that most of the thieves we caught were ex-farm staff. So now we have released them into the industry, and now they are back to become threat to our remnant of the business. So that is our prayer, and we wish Nigerian government will do the needful in ensuring that we get some relief, we get some subsidy, we receive the needed attention, the practice is regulated, especially in the input supply, so that we will come back into the business. And with this, I don't think egg will reach 10,000 naira. But the way it is now, I'm not sure if it's not only the 10,000 naira which is a threat, whether in the near future you will see made in Nigeria egg.
All right. Thank you very much, Dr. Gwarzo, for giving us this very insightful and educative conversation. Thank you very much for joining us on the show this morning.
Thank you. It's a pleasure having you. I hope we meet again when we are going to break a good news for you. The egg is 1,000 naira crate.
Oh, I look forward to that. Thank you so much for that optimism there. We look forward to talking about how we've won the fight against the cost of egg getting to 10,000, and we'll celebrate buying 30,000 naira again. Thank you, Dr. Gwarzo, for joining us. That was Dr. Gwarzo, an agribusinessman and also a poultry farmer. He's also the chairman of the Kano State Poultry Association of Nigeria there, talking about the egg prices, issues surrounding it, interventions being made so far by the association, and hopeful expectations in terms of the government side. We're hopeful that the government will respond. He also gave us details of steps that are being taken by the association, letters written. I love the fact that he said the letters they've written, mentioned the names of people they submitted the letters to, so we know that these are the people who are looking forward to holding on to know why they've not responded to the Poultry Farmers Association. We also had earlier Mr. Onalo Akpa, who is the Director General of Poultry Association of Nigeria. Unfortunately, he's in Spain. He couldn't join us in the studio, and his network was quite bad, so he couldn't join us via Zoom as well. But we're actually looking forward to hearing from him, which we couldn't. Well, we hope we've been able to raise your hopes a little bit that maybe we'll see a difference in the cost of egg prices if the government responds as at when due. He said they've written to Standard Organization of Nigeria and Consumer Protection, they've written to the Kano State government, and a couple of letters have been submitted in regards to that. So we're hopeful that the prices will come down. Well, we've come to the end of this discussion segment.